how to choose road cycling shoes. In today's video, I'll be sharing some things and key areas that you should really look out for when it comes to choosing road cycling specific shoes. So when it comes to road bike shoe, the two most common type of sole is a full carbon sole or a hard plastic type of sole. Now, hard plastic type of sole usually comes back with entry-level shoe. And as a beginner, it's totally fine to begin with an entry-level shoe because that hard plastic sole provides a lot more support compared to a running shoe. And I would say a pair of cycling shoe is actually one of the best upgrade you can make as a cyclist, because with that pair of cycling shoe, you are really able to practice your pedaling technique, you are able to practice your clipping in and out, and you can become a lot more efficient with that pair of cycling shoe. Now, hard plastic entry-level shoes, apart from it being suitable for beginners, if you're the type of rider who does touring a lot, or maybe you do audex a lot, this type of shoe most often is also quite suitable for those type of riding style, because being hard plastic, there can sometimes be a little bit of flex in that sole. That flex in the sole will be able to absorb a lot of the road vibrations. So if you're spending a lot of hours riding a bicycle, this sort of shoe will be more comfortable in those scenarios. However, if you're looking for an upgrade, or maybe you're the type of rider who's a little bit more aggressive, then this is where the carbon shoe comes in. And most often, carbon soles, as you can see, it's really hard to bend. It's pretty much rock solid. So apart from it being more stiffer and more efficient, if you're the type of rider who's a little bit more heavier, maybe you have quite a bit of mass on your leg, then this sort of shoe will also provide more support for your feet to actually press on. Because if you ride the hard plastic type of sole, sometimes that little bit of movement, that little bit of flex in the sole can actually lead to a bit of discomfort in the legs. So sometimes the solution is to actually ride a carbon sole, because it provides you with that solid base and solid foundation for your feet to actually press on. So again, it depends on what type of rider you are and what type of riding you do. If you do a lot of audex, then most of the time the hard plastic sole will be the better solution for that riding scenario. But for the rest of us who like to do aggressive riding, or maybe you have a bit more body weight, then this sort of shoe will be a lot more suitable, because it's stiffer, it's a lot more efficient, and of course it provides support for your body weight and for your foot to actually press on it. So the second thing that we're going to discuss about is actually the closure system of the shoe. Now, there are three very common type of closure system when it comes to road cycling shoe. So the most common and most popular one being right now is actually the boa dowels. This has actually become a trend in a lot of road cycling shoes, and it's actually one of the best among the three. And the second type is actually the traditional Velcro system, where it is something that you pull and then you just stick it over the top. And then the third type is shoelaces. Now, among the three, I would say the least favorable is actually the shoelaces. And that is because the shoelaces, there is not a lot of adjustability in that shoelace system. Whereas in this sort of boa dowels and Velcro system, for one, you can actually adjust the fit while you're on the fly. And then some boa dowels actually come with a feature where you can just pop up the boa dowel and then it loosens the entire shoe. So it provides that quick adjustability on the fly. And same goes with the Velcro system. You can always just loosen and then retighten whenever you're on a fly. But with a shoelace, you are unable to do that. So it really lacks that adjustability. And also one more thing to take note is that with the boa dowels, you are really able to dial in your fit, because these sort of boa dowels, it moves in millimeter increments. So hence that's why it's proving popular in a lot of road cycling shoes. It is special for sure, because on normal running shoes you usually wouldn't see this type of boa dowels, but actually it provides you with that functionality that you need in a road cycling shoe. So among the three, I would definitely say go for the boa dowels. Choose a pair of cycling shoe that comes with a boa dowel closure system. And the third thing to consider when it comes to choosing a road cycling shoe is actually the material of the upper sole. Now, the two most common type of material is actually leather and fabric. Now, among the two, the key differences between the both of them is really how easy is it to clean, and of course, secondly, ventilation. Now, depending on the type of riding that you do, how easy is it to clean a shoe might or might not be important to you. Because if you ride off-road a lot, most likely you probably get a lot of dirt covering the whole shoe and stuff. So in that case, a leather upper will actually be much easier to clean. Whereas if you ride a fabric type of shoe, then in those scenarios you actually have to scrub quite hard in order to get that dirt off the shoe. But for me, what is more important right here is actually the ventilation of the shoe, because especially if you ride indoors a lot, ventilation is the biggest thing that I look for in a road cycling shoe. Because I've ridden both leather and fabric type of cycling shoe indoors, and I would say that thick fabric kind of upper sole is actually not very suitable for indoor riding, because when you ride indoors you sweat a lot, and that thick fabric actually absorbs the sweat. And after it absorbs the sweat, you put it outside for it to dry. It doesn't really dry quite well, and then the next day when you come in to put on that pair of shoe, it's wet and it's weird and it's not really comfortable. So if you're riding indoors a lot, I would say choose a upper that is a lot more thinner. So these are upper like leather, or some indoor cycling shoe are designed specifically with a thin mesh layer to cope with that problem. So that thin mesh layer is able to absorb your sweat, but when you put it outside to dry, it dries quickly, and then it's ready for the next day for you to come in and wear that pair of shoes. Now I'm the type of rider who really rides indoor a lot. Most of my training is actually done indoors, and I sweat a lot indoors. So that's why the leather upper doesn't actually hold up quite well to indoor ridings. So if you ride indoors a lot, definitely go for the thin mesh layer type of cycling shoe. Again, there's no right or wrong answer here whether or not you go for the fabric or the leather upper sole. It's just which one is more suitable for the type of riding that you do. If you don't ride indoors a lot, then the leather upper sole and the thick fabric is actually not too bad, because when you're riding outdoors, wind can actually flow across that shoe. So that itself provides ventilation already. So choose whichever one that suits your riding type, and choose whichever one that is most comfortable for you. So those are some of the key things that I look for when it comes to a road cycling shoe. If this is your first time looking to get a pair of specific road cycling shoes, then these are some of the things to actually take note and actually look out for. So like this video if you found value out of it, and remember to share it with a friend. So that is all I have to share for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.